Appreciate you guys being here tonight. Always exciting to start a year, right? Opening night. Can't believe it's my 12th. Just means I'm old, gray hair and reading glasses. So just really proud of my team. That was a veteran team coming in. That was a team that played in their championship game last year against Colgate in the tournament, and they returned most of their guys, all of their perimeter guys, really good guards. And I just really challenged our team defensively coming into this game, and to come out that first half and to play the way we did on the defensive end. I thought we just did. We were all over the place. We were active, but not going crazy and giving up open drives and open shots. And I thought that sped them up. And it's always important, especially in the first game, to do that because there's nerves involved, and it comes from a good place. I mean, we've been together since the end of June as a group. We went overseas together. We've been training. We've been practicing for this night. And so everybody's a little bit on edge, including coaches. And so when you can come out and kind of play the defense the way you do it, it kind of settles you in. We were able to get some easy baskets. We were able to go inside and get some easy ones with Nick early. Matt got the steal and the dunk right off the first play. So overall, very positive step forward, especially without Brooks, to come out and to show that we can, we want him back. Don't get me wrong, but to show that we can still get out there and play well, even if he's not on the floor.
Coach, Nick's trajectory here has sort of mirrored Brooks' path, especially with him stepping into that sixth starter role last season before Ty went down. How does a performance like tonight sort of showcase the type of leap that he could take this season?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's the natural kind of progression of what you've seen in our program. I mean, we've been a development-based program, and for Nick, he came in as a freshman. He came off the bench. He showed some positive signs at the end of the year. He really came on and played a lot as we made our push to the NCAA tournament. Last year, he was our Super Six man and had a lot of good games. Then all of a sudden, Ty goes down. He becomes a starter. And I think averaged about 13 a game the rest of the year. So I knew, with our player development and the way he works at it and his confidence, that he was poised to come in and really up it to another level, to be an all-league type guy. I mean, that's my hopes for him. I mean, I've said that. I believe he has that kind of potential. He's such a difficult matchup. He's strong. He can score in the post. He knows how to get his shot off, and he's worked so hard now to be able to make those open shots that it really makes it hard. How do you guard him without double teaming him? And then when you double team him, I think we got pretty good shooting. You've seen that with Ty and with KJ and with Jalen. Nick, Luke Hunger's a good shooter. You saw Angelo step up and make a three. So, he's just a tough matchup, and just excited kind of when we can get Brooks back to see those two guys. You feel really good if you got those two competitive guys kind of anchoring your team as vets. And see, that's what I see with KJ and Angelo too. You see young Nick Martinelli's, young Brooks Barnett. I mean, that's who we are. We bring guys in, we develop, they learn how it works, and then as they get older, they step into more prominent roles.
Coach, tonight was your largest point differential victory on an opening night during your tenure here. How does this really set the tone for this season?
Well, it's just important to feel good, to come out and to feel like you played well, and that was important. I was joking around. Many people don't know. My sister was a really good player at Lehigh, and the only other time that I played Lehigh in my coaching career was the C.J. McCollum game in the NCAA tournament, and he sent us home at 2 versus a 15 seed. So she's been talking trash to me for about 12 years about Lehigh having my number. So I kind of had this one circled so I didn't have to hear that anymore. So, but just a great first step for our team. We know what's ahead of us every game. You can't get too high. You can't get too low. We got to get back to work here. We got a week of preparation to go on the road and play against a really good Dayton team in one of the most hostile environments in the country. So we're going to have to be even better if we want to go on the road and try to win.
Coach Jalen Leach, what did you see from him tonight in his first game at Northwestern? Also, is there an added element to what you could do defensively, having a longer, more athletic point guard?
Yeah, I mean, you look out there and we have really good size at every spot. With Jalen at 6'4", Ty 6'4", Nick, Obviously Luke and Matt at the 5 spot have great size, there. Blake Smith comes in with size, Angelo. So, we do a lot of switching in our defense. So when you have size, it allows you to switch more things and not get punished inside for it. So, I think I thought he did a great job tonight for his first game, and I think he's still kind of getting accustomed to the speed and intensity of this level. But, if we're going to say that he's going to give us 12, 6, and 5, that'd be pretty darn good. And happy to have him. He's a veteran guy. He fits our program. He's a great guy. The guys really like him. He's a really good team guy. He's been a great addition here in the portal for us.
KJ and Jalen, they both had 6 assists tonight. When they're distributing the ball like that, what does that do for your offense?
It's great. I mean, we're a high assist team. I mean, that's like you guys know. A lot of you guys have tracked us and analyzed us and all those things. Like our formula is really good defense, and it's high assists and low turnovers. And that's been a staple of this program. We've always made our hay with being one of the best teams in terms of taking care of the ball. So we get 8 turnovers tonight with 22 assists. So when you can have that kind of unselfish play, and we have good spacing, the ball was moving, and we have pretty good shooting, that kind of keeps the defense spread. And we have 2 different types of big guys. You have Matt, who's a very good passer, but he's that threat at the rim and the lobs and the rolls. And then you come in with Luke, and all of a sudden he's picking and popping and playing into the short and getting those shots. I feel really good about that position. 2 veteran guys that are very confident. To me, they're both starters. I told Luke he's a starter. We're starting Matt, but those guys are going to share the game. And as long as, foul difficulty isn't a problem, and they're doing a great job kind of anchoring us at that big position.
Coach, switching over to the defensive side, what parts of your defensive identity do you think shone through tonight?
Well, I mean, we haven't changed who we are. I mean, we're a hard-nosed, we do a lot of switching, so we try to take teams out of what they want to do and make them more one-on-one based. I thought in the second half they got biased a little bit on the dribble. We're going to have to shore that up. First half, I thought we did a great job speeding up, taking them out of their sets and making them play one-on-one. We've been a gritty kind of care about that end of the floor type of team. And, at times maybe you don't have the most athleticism, but defense is so much about scheme and so much about wanting to do it and believing in that scheme. And our guys believe in our defense. They have. Coach Lowry, who I give a lot of, responsibility to on that end of the floor, has done a great job kind of instilling that mindset and what we need to do, and we work on it every day. Like that's a non-negotiable, our defense, because you're not going to shoot the ball great every night, and you got to learn how to win a grinder if the ball's not going in the floor, in the basket.
Can you talk about the improvement you've seen from Luke Hunger last year to this year? He's scoring a career-high 15 points tonight.
Yeah, he was great. Again, same. I mean, that's what our program has been. In the day and age of the portal, we're going to stay true, and we're going to sprinkle the portal. We're not ignoring the portal. Ryan Langborg was really good for us. Jalen Leach, is going to be really good for us. But, we've built our program on chemistry, camaraderie, guys coming in as young players, learning what it's all about, playing off the bench, playing smaller roles, and then becoming great players as they get older. And Luke is no different, and so he, it's great too, because, he had an injury his freshman year. So he's really just a sophomore. Even though he's in his 3rd year, he had a medical red shirt. So, you look at having him for these next 3 years as just a veteran big guy. It's pretty exciting, and it's just fun to see his confidence. That's what I see. He's just super confident. And so much about basketball is if you play with confidence, so much is going to happen for you. Because if you're out there and you're unsure and you don't know what you're not going to play well.
A couple more questions, Adam.
Coach, you're in a couple high-low looks for Nicholson and Martinelli, especially getting Martinelli down low. Was that something that is it within the realm of the offense, or is that something that's more specific based on matchups?
Yeah, it's kind of out of what we do. We have some motion-based stuff. I mean, I think you guys are seeing, when you have Boo, you're going to be a heavy pick and roll team. And we still have a lot of pick and roll in what we're doing. But the way this team is with Leach and with Ty and with Nick and with Brooks when he comes back and Angelo and KJ, we're going to see more motion type stuff. And you're going to see off ball cutting, off ball screening. And, you know, that gives, and we try to keep the floor open. And Matt is such a good passer. You know, I think it's one of the most underrated parts of his game is his passing. And then now with Luke's ability, when he comes in, when Luke can make one, you got to guard him. So now when Nick and when Brooks comes back, to have that element of being able to post those two guys, I think is going to be a staple in our offense for sure. I mean, you saw right out of the gate, first play of the game, we went right to Nick in the post. I mean, that was a called, scripted play to try to get something right away.
Last question to Matt. Coach, Ty and Matt ended up around 20 minutes.
Yeah.
How much of that is still working them back in from injury versus, you know, just being up big and getting started out?
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked Matt to get about 4 more. I wanted to get him. He played, I think, 11 or 12. You know, I think, you know, if all things considered, if we could have Matt and Luke kind of 20-20, somewhere in that range, might be 22-18. But, you know, if they can kind of man the game. But I think you saw in the second half, I left Ty in, even though we had a big lead, because he was in foul trouble in the first half. I think he played only 6 minutes in the first half, and I thought it was important to kind of extend him a little bit because they're still shaking off rust. I mean, guys, if you don't play in a competitive game for 8 months, it's going to take a little time. And they're both healthy, they're feeling good, but you're seeing they're getting their sea legs back underneath them, and you saw in the second half, like Ty was starting to get to his spots. He came off some screens, made some shots. He got downhill, got a layup, driving. Like, I think that was a real positive boost for him going into our next game.
All right, that wraps up, Coach.
Awesome, guys. See you guys next week.
Nick, strong game tonight, really all around, very well balanced. Can you just speak of the growth from last season, off season, to now this season as you're starting to really establish yourself kind of like that guy right now?
Yeah, I definitely think a lot of the growth comes from the trust from my teammates. Obviously, we had a lot of guys come in, a couple of transfers, and some young guys, and they needed someone to look up to when, you know, Ty, Brooks, and Matt were out. So it just gave me a huge opportunity to, you know, grow in that position as a leader. Like me and Luke, there was a lot of pressure put on us during the summer, and we loved it. We embraced it, you know. It was just a great opportunity. So as for the growth, yeah, I think a lot of it comes from the trust of my teammates.
Luke, how much do you think your ability to space the floor opens up the offense for the team?
Yeah, I think, you know, me and Matt have 2 really different styles of play, but I think that makes us good because we can bring, you know, different types of offense to the game. And, yeah, you know, today the short roll was opening up, and, you know, in the exhibition, Matt was getting a bunch of lobs, a bunch of dunks. So I think, you know, just all years, keep being consistent and keep, you know, attacking from both ends.
Nick, your trajectory here has sort of mirrored that of Brooks. How would you say you're primed to take sort of a jump comparable to what he did last year to sort of an all-league type player in your junior campaign?
Yeah, I definitely think that's a huge compliment. Me and Brooks are super close, and we talk about, you know, we just talk about ball all the time. We live together. And that's a huge compliment. When I came in, I saw how hard Brooks worked and what it took to kind of get on the floor. And then consistently over time, when he grew into that role that he did last year, I got to see that. And he's talked me through a lot of it. And he texts me before every game, you know. He doesn't need to do that, you know. He has a lot of faith in me. And he told me, like, you know, I want you to play with full confidence. Like, I'm not out there. This is your opportunity to show people who you are. And just that, like, somebody that's that good of a player, obviously, you know, we're best friends, but if somebody says that, obviously you're going to have so much more confidence, you know. And I'm just grateful for him. Me and him have obviously grown together in our faith journey, and something else that I've grown in is my faith and not worrying about, you know, little things, just trusting that God has my back and that he has a path for me, so.
Nick, can you talk about your three-point shooting and your improvement in that area this season?
Yeah, that was definitely a big focus. You know, last season I was chucking up a lot of bricks. And so, yeah, I definitely wanted to work on that, work on game shots. You know, I was always in the gym, you know, when I came in, even in high school as well. And and I wasn't necessarily getting a lot of game shots. So I've kind of narrowed it down. Take a lot of stress off the legs. I've dealt with stress injuries a lot since I've been here, so just get quick right to it, game shots every time. So yeah, that's definitely helped.
For either of you guys, what was your impressions of how KJ played tonight?
I mean, yeah, KJ is awesome. I mean, he came in ready right away to play. I mean, you guys see, he doesn't look like a freshman on the court. He's confident. He could shoot the ball. He's really, really good, and we're gonna need him a lot this year. He's gonna be in a lot of games, play a lot of minutes. So yeah, he's a really good player.
For either of you, in practice, what does it look like on the defensive side of the floor? How does that translate to the in game and what we just saw?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a lot of yelling and pushing and sweating. That's really all I can describe it as. Every time you have to be ready and locked in for practice. The coaches have a super high standard for us, and we're obviously super grateful for that. We've been here for a while. We know what that's like. But yeah, the defensive end. When we have defensive days, it's time to go. So.
Nick, on a similar note, you, Jalen, KJ, the rest of the perimeter guys kind of were picking up very early, kind of at half court, really trying to rattle them. How much do you think that impacted your incredible defensive start today?
Yeah, there was a lot of intensity in the last 3 practices coming in today, and that was something we wanted to focus on. When we played against Lewis, our defense, we had a lot of lapses, and our program is a defensive program. Since I've been here, we've always focused on defense first, and as a player, you want to go into the game worrying about winning and defense, and the offense will come with that. So that's definitely something that we focused on, and the intensity definitely picked up in the practices before this game.
Luke, how do you think your postseason experience, especially going up against guys like Vlad Golden, Donovan Clingan, and March Madness, have prepared you to take an elevated role now in your redshirt sophomore campaign?
Yeah, I mean, last year I really wasn't expecting to play as much as I did. There was injuries, all that kind of stuff. But being a redshirt freshman and thrown into the fire against some of the best bigs in the country, I mean, it could only help you. And I think having those experiences, playing in the biggest stage, kind of helped me this offseason. My teammates were helping me a lot. My coaches, gave me the confidence, the belief that I can come in and actually make an impact. So I think just overall experience, I mean, you need to play to get better in this league. So I think I've taken that, and I'm ready to, take the next step.
Yeah, then just go for either of you, I guess, Luke here. Can you guys speak of the defensive intensity from here tonight? I mean, you guys had 23 points off turnovers, like 4 guys, I think, with 2+ steals. Start off the game with a turnover. So you can speak of the intensity of what you guys saw out there tonight.
Yeah, I think like kind of what Nick said, the coaches really set a standard. It's a standard of perfection. In practice, they're on us for every little detail. The scouting reports are on point, and it's just our job to bring that to the court. And you saw by today, the start is really what got us going. And we forced a lot of turnovers, got a lot of fast breaks. That was kind of what coaches were getting on us for, is we didn't get enough fast break layups, fast break points. So I think we have to just focus on that end every day. And, we have a lot better of a team coming up on Saturday. So, just carry that to the game.
Time for a couple more, Charlie.
For either one of you, this is the first 40-point win for Northwestern in a few years. How important is that to kind of get momentum going as the season continues against Dayton now?
Yeah, it's super important. At the end of the day, you look at the score, and if you win, a win's a win. That's, as a basketball player, as an athlete, you just want to win the game. Obviously, whether it be 40, 30, 20, we really want to look at how hard we played. That's really, at the end of the day, you look at yourself in film, and sometimes you're like, wow, I didn't have it this game. And you got to pick it up in practice, and you'll get called out for it, And the problem is you're watching it in front of your teammates, and if you didn't have that energy and same intensity, you kind of feel like you're letting them down. So yeah, definitely winning by 40 points. I obviously just want to see a W in the column. So yeah.
Last question.
For either of you, can you talk about the impact the crowd had, especially the student section?
Yeah, I mean the wild side is phenomenal. I mean every when we got here, you know, I guess he could tell you it wasn't that great, but you know as soon as we started getting good and the crowd started kind of buying into it, it's becoming an unreal home court advantage. I mean we feed off on the wild side every single game. You know they get us some of those stops at the end of the game when maybe we're tired or we're a little low on energy. And it's been great to see the turnout. I mean, yeah, you saw today they got pretty crazy for the Chick-fil-A, so that's always fun. But yeah.
All right, that'll wrap us up.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.